My beloved child, before you hear a single word of what heaven is about to reveal, listen carefully, subscribe to this channel right now and do not blink, do not breathe too fast, do not even shift your finger until this message ends, because the moment you open this video, heaven registered your soul entering a divine emergency zone, and if you skip even 1 second, the truth that could save you will slip away, and the setback your enemy has triggered will become permanent. Let me ask you the first question heaven has waited years to ask you. Why do you always feel danger before it arrives? Why do you sense betrayal before people reveal their true face? Why does your spirit wake up on nights when something is wrong even when everyone else is sleeping peacefully? Child, those sensations were not anxiety, they were warnings from heaven. And now the second question: if God showed you the face of your secret enemy right now, would you be strong enough to accept it? Or would you break? Because what Archangel Michael is about to reveal will shake the foundation of everything you thought you understood about the people around you, your past decisions, and the reason your life suddenly became heavy in the last few days. Michael steps forward, armor cracked from battle, wings glowing with war light, and his voice trembles the atmosphere. Child, the first round has been lost, not because you were weak, but because your enemy attacked you in silence. Someone you trusted, someone who smiled at you, spoke something destructive over your name, and heaven is showing me the exact moment it happened, a conversation where your name was mentioned lightly, casually, almost innocently, but the energy behind it carried jealousy, anger, resentment, and a desire to see you fail. That moment gave your secret enemy temporary access to your spiritual battlefield, and for the first time in a long time, darkness gained one step forward. But listen, your Father in heaven is not angry with you. He is not disappointed. He is not blaming you. Heaven is only showing you what is happening so you understand the urgency of this moment. Because, child, your destiny is too big, and your breakthrough is too close, for heaven to allow this attack to finish what it started. The realm around you shifts, light flickering, shadows twisting, timelines vibrating, and suddenly I see you standing between two massive forces, one representing every dream, calling, blessing, and opportunity waiting for you, and the other representing every fear, delay, betrayal, and secret jealousy that has hunted you. And heaven whispers, this is the round that determines the next decade of their life. The air tightens around you, your chest warms, your spirit vibrates, and Michael lifts the scroll he carries, a scroll burned at the edges, proof that the battle for your life has already been fought today. He unrolls it, and written in golden fire is a message that shakes the heavens. The deadline has expired, but the child is not lost. One last chance must be given. You feel that, don't you? That sudden heaviness mixed with clarity, that mix of fear and awakening, that sensation that something invisible but massive has been happening behind your back. That is not imagination. That is your spirit recognizing the truth. Now Michael shows me a vision, your secret enemy celebrating because they think the damage they caused is irreversible. They think you stayed silent, unaware, unprotected. They think the words they spoke, the doubt they planted, or the betrayal they committed went unnoticed. But heaven saw it. Heaven heard it. Heaven recorded it. And heaven is responding. Suddenly the realm rips open and your Father in heaven steps forward, not gentle this time, not soft, not subtle. His presence arrives like a storm that silences every force of darkness around you. His voice shakes the battlefield. My child, the enemy won the first round only because you did not know you were being attacked. But now you know, and what you know, you can reverse. And instantly, heaven shows me something terrifying and beautiful at the same time. You, yes, you, standing in the center of a cosmic arena, your spirit glowing brighter than the attacks around you, brighter than the words spoken against you, brighter than the intentions that tried to block you. And your Father in heaven says, this time, they fight back with knowledge. This time, they fight back with truth. This time, the enemy will not win. The golden door appears behind you again, but this time it flickers, unstable, as if your destiny is hanging by a thread, still reachable but slipping, still open but narrowing, still yours but requiring action. Heaven whispers another question. Why do you always stop seconds before your breakthrough arrives? Why do you slow down right when the blessing is within reach? Why do you pull back the moment things start getting better? Because, child, that hesitation, those delays, that sudden loss of energy, that confusion, it was never random. It was planted, designed, engineered. Your secret enemy used spiritual timing to hit you in the moment of your greatest vulnerability. But listen, Michael steps behind you now, placing his flaming hand on your shoulder, and whispers, child, what was lost can be reclaimed. What was damaged can be healed. What was stolen can be restored. But only if you act now. The ground trembles, the countdown that heaven hid from you begins glowing in massive golden numbers. This is the final chance window heaven has granted you. If you turn away now, the setback becomes part of your timeline. If you stay, listen, and act, heaven will reverse it. The power is shifting. The truth is unfolding. The attack is being exposed. The door is still open, but not for long. And heaven gives you this final warning, not in anger, but in divine love. Child, what you do in the next moments will rewrite your entire destiny. Do not let the enemy claim a victory that does not belong to them. Step forward and reclaim what is yours, now. And now, child, as the heavenly realm contracts and expands like a massive lung breathing the truth into your destiny, a violent shift explodes through the spiritual atmosphere, revealing that the attack against you was not accidental, not spontaneous, not random. It was timed, calculated, precisely executed at the moment your spirit was rising the fastest. And Archangel Michael's wings flare open with a blast of blue fire as he screams, child, your secret enemy knew exactly when to strike. And immediately the entire battlefield flips upside down, showing you the hidden layers of the attack, the whispered conversations behind your back, the silent envy that grew like poison, the negative energy someone projected onto your blessings, the jealousy that erupted the moment they saw your spirit healing, the resentment triggered when they realized you were finally breaking patterns they prayed you would stay stuck in forever. And heaven reveals the most painful truth. Your enemy is someone who studied you, watched your routines, learned your weaknesses, analyzed your wounds, waited for the moment your guard was lowered, and then delivered an energetic blow designed to create confusion, delay, emotional heaviness, financial blockages, spiritual fog, and sudden self-doubt. But child, listen closely. Your Father in heaven shows me why the first round was lost, not because your enemy was stronger, but because you were tired. You were exhausted from carrying burdens alone. You were emotionally drained from battles no one else knew about. You were spiritually worn out from fighting wars in silence while pretending everything was fine. And heaven whispers, the enemy attacked a tired warrior. But this time is different. Because now you are not exhausted, you are awakening. Now you are not blind, you are aware. Now you are not wounded, you are rising. And suddenly the battlefield cracks open, revealing two parallel timelines. In the first timeline, the setback becomes permanent and consumes the next 10 years of your destiny, repeating cycles of loss, betrayal, confusion, emotional storms, financial strain, and spiritual heaviness. In the second timeline, the setback is reversed, the attack is broken, the enemy's influence is destroyed. The blessing rebounds with double force, and your life shifts so violently upward that even heaven watches with awe. And child, the shocking part? Heaven is letting you choose. Archangel Michael steps into the crack between the two timelines, holding the sword that has defended you since childhood, its blade now covered in scorch marks from the battle your enemy triggered, and he says, "Child, your enemy believes they won. They believe the damage is done. They believe heaven has closed the door. They believe you won't recover." But suddenly Michael begins to laugh, not a soft laugh, but a laugh so loud it shakes the pillars of heaven, because what your enemy does not know is that the Father himself has authorized a reversal that overrides every attack made against you. The golden door behind you roars open again with atomic force, flames of divine power tearing across the battlefield, erasing the footprint your enemy left on your destiny. But before you can step through, heaven stops you and asks the most difficult question yet, the one your soul cannot hide from. Why do you allow the same people who hurt you to still hold space in your mind? Why do you forgive too quickly, trust too easily, love too deeply, and expect loyalty from hearts that were never capable of giving it? Heaven is not blaming you, heaven is exposing the wound that allowed the enemy to sneak in. Your kindness has been used as a doorway. Your loyalty has been used as a weapon against you. Your compassion has been exploited. Your silence has been misinterpreted as weakness. Your heart has been underestimated for too long. But no more. Suddenly your Father in heaven raises his hand and the entire battlefield freezes. Every angel stops moving. Every shadow turns still. Every timeline pauses. And God himself walks directly to you, his voice unlike anything your spirit has ever felt before, a vibration so ancient and so powerful it feels like the universe is kneeling. My child, you were not designed to fight in silence. You were not born to be stepped on. You were not created to be manipulated. You were not made to carry guilt that is not yours. You were crafted in divine image, powerful, chosen, protected. And with one motion of his hand, the light that surrounds you expands into a shield so radiant that every dark intention sent at you burns on contact. Then heaven exposes something terrifying. Your secret enemy is already experiencing a spiritual backlash, a collapse of the very energy they sent toward you, and heaven whispers, this is the first sign that the war is shifting. The countdown above you restarts, not a warning this time, but a final activation window, a divine timer glowing in molten gold, your last chance. Heaven bends toward your timeline, angels descend in formation, Michael points his blazing sword toward the doorway, and the Father declares, "Child, step forward now and reverse the setback before the enemy's victory becomes permanent. This is your moment. This is your turning. This is your reclaiming. Move." And the instant those words hit your spirit, the entire battlefield explodes into golden fire, lighting the path for the final round, the one you are destined to win. And now, child, as the explosion of golden fire tears through the spiritual battlefield like a cosmic shockwave, the rubble of your past collapses behind you and the path ahead reshapes itself into something far more terrifying and far more beautiful than anything you have ever imagined, because heaven is no longer simply guiding you, heaven is repositioning you, realigning you, and preparing to elevate you to a level where your secret enemy can no longer stand, breathe, or operate anywhere near. Your destiny. The realm trembles again, this time deeper, heavier, like the very bones of creation are adjusting themselves to accommodate the rise of your spirit, and Archangel Michael steps through the flames with his armor scorched, sword steaming with the heat of battle, his voice echoing with ancient fury. "Child, your enemy is not prepared for what happens next," and instantly the sky cracks open revealing a massive dome of swirling darkness. The residue of the attacks your enemy launched behind your back, the lies they whispered, the intentions they hid, the jealousy they masked with smiles, the prayers they made against your progress, the energy they directed toward your downfall. This dome begins collapsing inward, sucking in every negative frequency that was ever sent toward you, and then Michael slices it open with a single strike, releasing a roar of wind that blows the dark energy into oblivion. But child, heaven does not stop there, because now God wants you to see something even more shocking, the moment your enemy celebrated your pain. I see it clearly. Your secret enemy smiling quietly when you struggled, feeling satisfaction when you doubted yourself, feeling relief when your plans slowed down, feeling power when you felt helpless. Heaven uncovers that hidden moment not to hurt you, but to awaken you, because you need to understand exactly why the setback was allowed to happen, to reveal the true face behind the mask of false loyalty. And then something extraordinary happens. The battlefield shifts into a mirror dimension where every lie told about you is shown in reverse, unraveling, losing its energy, losing its ability to influence anyone's thoughts about you. Heaven whispers, their words are losing power. Their intentions are dissolving. Their influence is disappearing, and you feel a sudden looseness inside your spirit, the loosening of emotional hooks, the breaking of invisible cords, the detachment of energy you carried without knowing it. The golden doorway pulses again, louder now, pulling you with a force that feels like destiny delivering justice on your behalf. The countdown flashes violently across the sky, each number bursting into flames that reveal fragments of your future, visions of you rising higher, healing deeper, moving quicker, receiving opportunities that multiply, walking through doors your enemy tried to close, standing in places they never imagined you could reach, and heaven whispers, "Child, this is why they targeted you. The enemy saw your future before you saw it yourself." Suddenly the ground beneath you splits and two colossal hands made of light rise from the fracture, one representing everything you lost, the other representing everything that is coming, and both reach toward you simultaneously. Heaven whispers, "Choose alignment, not attachment." And child, the moment you make that inner choice, your entire aura erupts into a cyclone of power, spinning so fast that the residue of every past disappointment, every betrayal, every doubt, every emotional scar is burned away. Michael raises his sword again and points toward a figure emerging in the distance, your enemy's spirit counterpart, a shadow formed from their intentions, a swirling dark mass fueled by the energy they sent your way. It lunges toward you, but the moment it enters your aura, your newly awakened divine energy incinerates it instantly, causing the entire realm to explode with golden shockwaves. Angels cheer, not with soft voices, but with war cries that shake the cosmos. And then your Father in heaven speaks again, his voice now resonant with a force that bends timelines. My child, the enemy's first victory was allowed so heaven could expose the root. But now the first shall be the last, and the last shall be the first. The plot against you is collapsing. The setback is reversing. The curse is breaking. And the throne prepared for you is rising. The light around you becomes so intense that your spirit cracks open, releasing new strength, new clarity, new authority that you did not have before this battle. And child, as the golden doorway stretches wider and wider, pulling you into the next chapter of your destiny, heaven gives you the most dangerous warning yet. If you do not step forward now, the enemy will use the delay to rewrite the story against you. But if you step now and claim what is yours, the enemy will be forced to watch your rise and regret the day they ever attacked you. And the instant those words hit your soul, the entire heavenly dimension tilts toward your timeline, the angels rise into formation, Michael's wings ignite into blue inferno, the countdown shrinks into its final seconds, and God himself commands the realm, move, child. This is your last chance to reverse the damage and unleash the destiny that cannot be stopped. And as those words rip through your spirit like holy thunder, you know, this is the moment the war ends and your victory begins. My beloved child, before you hear a single word heaven is about to reveal, subscribe to this channel right now and keep your focus here until the very last second, because what you are about to hear carries a purpose that your spirit has been sensing for days, a message wrapped in light, shaped by truth, and delivered at the exact moment your heart became ready for it. So pause, breathe, and let me ask you the first question that heaven has whispered over your life. Why do you feel a shift inside you lately, as if something unseen is rearranging the pieces of your destiny? Why have you been waking up with the sense that something important is approaching you, something your soul can feel but your mind cannot yet name? These questions are not random, they are invitations from the divine, pulling you closer to your purpose, nudging you toward clarity, reminding you that your life is moving in a direction your past could not imagine. And now let me ask you another question. If I told you that there is a truth about your journey that you haven't discovered yet, one that has the power to rewrite the way you see your past and open doors you didn't know were waiting, would you be ready to receive it? Because child, Archangel Michael steps forward now, not in battle posture but in guidance, his wings glowing with calm strength, his presence surrounding you with reassurance, and he says, the moment you opened this message, the heavens took notice, not because you are in danger, but because you are aligned with something bigger than you realize, and instantly the atmosphere around you shifts, becoming clearer, softer, almost like a warm wind brushing against your spirit, reminding you that you are supported in ways you have never fully understood. And suddenly Michael reveals a hidden truth. There has been a misunderstanding in your path, a moment where you misread silence as defeat, delay as rejection, or uncertainty as loss, when in reality heaven was rerouting you, repositioning you, preparing you, placing you in a direction where you would not settle for the life you once thought was good enough, but step into the life that was always meant for you. And now your Father in heaven draws closer, his voice steady and filled with encouragement as he says, "My child, nothing is lost. What felt like a setback was simply me clearing space for what belongs to you," and instantly the realm fills with light, illuminating every chapter you thought was wasted, every effort you thought was ignored, every dream you thought was fading, and you begin to realize that the pieces of your story are not scattered, they are aligning. And heaven shows you a vision of your future self, not broken, not confused, not exhausted, but standing taller, moving with purpose, glowing with confidence, living with a clarity you once prayed to feel, and that future version of you looks straight into your spirit and whispers, "You are closer than you think," and those words open something inside you, something that had been tight, heavy, or uncertain, and now feels warm, expanding, rising like sunlight after a long night. And Michael adds, "The truth you seek is not here to frighten you, it is here to free you," and heaven unveils the message your soul has been waiting to hear. The shift in your life is not a warning, it is an awakening. The change you feel is not danger, it is direction. The energy around you is not closing, it is opening, and your Father in heaven places his hand over your heart and says, "Move forward with courage, child, because what comes next is clarity, not chaos, growth, not loss, alignment, not confusion," and suddenly the entire realm glows brighter, echoing with purpose as you realize the hidden truth is simply this: you are entering a new chapter, one guided by divine timing, protected by divine presence, and shaped by divine intention, and nothing in your life is moving backward, everything is moving into place. And now, child, as the brightness of the divine realm grows so vast it feels like your spirit is standing inside the sunrise of creation itself, a new wave of clarity washes over you, gentle, steady, but strong enough to dissolve every remaining fragment of doubt you carried, and Archangel Michael steps forward with a softer expression now, not the warrior you saw before, but the guardian who has watched every unseen moment of your life with unwavering loyalty, and he says, "Child, do you understand what is happening to you right now? This is not a random message, not a coincidence, not a moment to scroll past. This is the first time in a long time that your spirit is aligned enough to hear the truth it has been calling for," and instantly the atmosphere shifts again, turning into a vast open field of light where every memory, every emotion, every unanswered question floats gently around you like glowing fireflies. And heaven begins bringing each one forward not to overwhelm you but to free you, showing you how far you have come, how much you have grown, how many storms you have walked through alone while believing no one saw your effort or your endurance, when in reality heaven was watching every step, recording every tear, strengthening every weak moment, and guiding every choice that brought you to this exact point. And your Father in heaven steps closer, his presence like a warm sunrise settling over your chest. And he speaks with a tone that feels both comforting and awakening. "My child, you have been far too hard on yourself. You thought you were stuck when you were growing, you thought you were lost when you were shifting, you thought you were breaking when you were transforming, and suddenly the realm unfolds into a timeline of your heart, moments where you apologized when you weren't wrong, moments where you held others together when no one held you, moments where you forgave people who weren't sorry, moments where you stayed soft even after being hurt." And heaven says, "These are not signs of weakness, they are signs of strength only the rarest souls carry," and instantly the weight you have carried for years begins to melt away, replaced by a rising warmth inside your spirit, a feeling you haven't felt in a long time, a sense of being seen, seen by heaven, seen by your angels, seen by the divine who has been watching over you since the day you took your first breath. and then Michael opens a new vision. One that shows the world from a higher perspective, your life from a wider angle, your purpose from a deeper place, and he says, you have been preparing for a chapter that requires the exact combination of compassion, resilience, intuition, and strength that your past shaped within you, and suddenly you understand that everything you thought was breaking you was actually building you, everything that confused you was actually positioning you, everything that hurt you was actually refining you, everything that delayed you was actually protecting you, and your Father in heaven whispers, the setbacks did not close your path, they cleared it, and at those words, the entire realm becomes brighter, your spirit stands taller, your heart opens wider, and your mind becomes clearer because the truth finally sinks in. You are not behind, you are ahead, you are not failing, you are transitioning, you are not losing, you are leveling, you are not in danger, you are in alignment. And as this realization expands inside you, Michael places his hand on your back gently and says, walk forward, child, not with fear, but with confidence, because what is waiting for you is not uncertainty, it is purpose, and at that moment heaven leans in one final time, filling your soul with a wave of peace so warm, so deep, so complete that you finally understand. This chapter of your life is not about survival, it is about emergence, awakening, alignment, and stepping into the version of you that heaven has been patiently shaping from the beginning. And now, child, as the heavenly realm expands into an even greater horizon of light, something extraordinary begins to unfold inside you. A shift so gentle yet so powerful that it feels like your soul is remembering something ancient and familiar, something you always carried but never fully understood, and Archangel Michael steps into this widening light with a presence that radiates steadiness, compassion, and quiet strength. And he says, child, do you feel it? This calm rising inside your spirit is not imagination, it is alignment. And instantly the realm fills with soft golden echoes, each echo representing a moment in your life when you felt a sudden inner knowing, a brief intuitive whisper, a moment of clarity that appeared out of nowhere, and heaven reveals the truth. Those moments were not random, they were guidance, breadcrumbs, divine hints leading you toward the path you are now ready to walk with confidence. And child, the realm opens into a vast sky filled with pages, pages representing chapters of your life you have lived, learned from, cried through, grown beyond, and heaven gently turns each page, reminding you of the lessons you didn't realize you were mastering. Patience learned through waiting, wisdom learned through experience, strength learned through hardship, compassion learned through being misunderstood, boundaries learned through being hurt, and courage learned through standing back up after every fall. And your Father in heaven speaks with a voice that feels like pure comfort settling over your shoulders. You did not fail because things took longer, you succeeded because you did not abandon the journey, and suddenly all the times you judged yourself harshly begin to dissolve, replaced by a deeper understanding that you were never meant to be perfect, only persistent, never meant to be flawless, only faithful to the process of becoming who you were created to be. And Michael lifts his hand, showing you a shimmering bridge made of light stretching into the horizon of your future, and he says, this is the part of your path where things begin to feel aligned, not because life becomes easier, but because you are no longer fighting against yourself, and instantly you see visions of possibilities forming, conversations that bring clarity instead of confusion, opportunities that match your heart rather than drain your energy, relationships that honor your growth instead of pulling you back into patterns you've outgrown, and paths that feel natural, not forced. And heaven reminds you that you are not stepping into a chapter of pressure, but a chapter of purpose, not a season of fear, but a season of fulfillment, not a cycle of scarcity, but a flow of stability and expansion. And child, the moment this truth sinks into your spirit, the entire realm becomes brighter, warmer, more alive. As if all of heaven is celebrating the fact that you are finally stepping into the version of yourself that your past could not hold. And then your Father in heaven places his hand gently over your heart and says, "You are allowed to outgrow who you once were. You are allowed to desire more. You are allowed to rise without guilt. You are allowed to become what your destiny has always asked of you." And those words unlock a softness in your chest, a release of every expectation, every pressure, every self-doubt. And suddenly you can breathe in a way you haven't breathed in years. And Michael, noticing this shift, smiles with a quiet pride and adds, "Child, this awakening you feel is not because something outside you has changed, it is because something inside you has finally opened, and the realm glows with a warm, golden pulse as heaven shows you your life not as a collection of struggles, but as a tapestry of resilience, strength, and rising wisdom woven together with divine intention." And in this moment you realize that the truth you were seeking was never about danger or fear, it was about recognition, the recognition that your journey has shaped you into someone capable, intuitive, powerful, and deeply aligned with your purpose. And as the light embraces your spirit fully, you finally see the hidden truth. You are not entering a new chapter, you are becoming a new version of yourself, one that heaven has been guiding you toward with every step you've ever taken. And now, child, as the heavenly realm stretches into an even wider expanse of shimmering gold and soft white radiance, something profound begins to stir inside you, not a feeling of pressure or urgency, but a deep sense of recognition, as if your soul is remembering the direction it was always meant to walk. And Archangel Michael steps through this expanding light with a calm confidence, his presence carrying the energy of steady reassurance as he says, "Child, look closely at what is happening within you right now, because this clarity you feel is not temporary, it is the beginning of your true alignment." And instantly the space around you shifts into a panoramic landscape filled with symbols of your journey, moments where you doubted yourself yet kept going, moments where you searched for meaning without realizing meaning was forming quietly beneath the surface, moments where you held on to hope even when life felt uncertain. And heaven now shows you the weaving of all these moments into a pattern you could never see while you were inside it, but now, from a higher perspective, reveals itself as a beautifully orchestrated path shaped by divine hands. And your Father in heaven walks closer with a gentleness that dissolves every remaining heaviness inside your heart, and he says, "My child, you have outgrown the season where you questioned your worth. You are entering the season where you understand your value." And suddenly the realm fills with scenes of your future, not as vague possibilities but as vibrant, living potential, rooms you will enter with confidence, opportunities that match your evolution, people who will see your heart clearly, projects that will flourish under your touch, relationships that honor your growth, and experiences that heal the wounds you once thought would never fully close. And Michael lifts one hand, causing a radiant pathway to appear before you again. Not steep, not intimidating, but smooth, inviting, glowing with a sense of divine timing and gentle forward motion, and he speaks with a voice that resonates deeply through your spirit. This path is not about proving yourself, it is about embracing yourself, not about rushing, it is about flowing, not about surviving, it is about becoming. And in that moment the air around you becomes warmer, lighter, filled with an unexplainable peace. And you realize that the confusion you once carried is dissolving because you are no longer trying to force your life into shapes that do not fit you, Instead, your life is beginning to expand into the shape of your soul, and heaven reveals an even deeper truth. Every shift you are feeling is a sign that your inner world is aligning with your outer purpose, that your intuition is sharpening, that your emotional resilience is becoming wisdom, and that your spirit is stepping into maturity in a way your younger self could never have imagined. And then your Father in heaven places his hand upon your shoulder in a gesture filled with both strength and tenderness, and he says, "Child, you are stepping into the chapter one always intended for you, the chapter where you no longer shrink yourself, where you no longer settle out of habit, where you no longer abandon your needs to comfort others, where you no longer fear your own potential." And those words ripple through you like warm currents, unlocking pieces of confidence, self-belief, and inner stability that had been hiding beneath years of pressure and expectation. And suddenly Michael gestures toward the horizon, where your future stands not as something distant or unreachable but as something close, tangible, already forming in real time, and he says, "The life ahead of you does not demand perfection, it demands presence, courage, and trust." And then heaven surrounds you with soft shimmering echoes, the echoes of every moment you stayed kind when the world was unkind, every moment you chose growth over comfort, every moment you chose truth over avoidance, every moment you chose healing over repeating old patterns. And as these echoes merge into a bright sphere of light around your spirit, you finally feel the truth settling deep inside you. You are not simply moving into a better season, you are stepping into the person you were always meant to become, the version of yourself that your past could not hold but your future is ready to receive. And now, child, as the heavenly realm widens into a breathtaking panorama of swirling gold, soft light, and deep celestial calm, a new wave of understanding begins to rise within you, a sense that everything you have ever lived, every emotion you have ever felt, every challenge you have ever faced, and every victory you have ever earned has been guiding you toward this exact moment of clarity and awakening. And Archangel Michael steps through this radiant horizon with a presence so steady and reassuring that you instantly feel your spirit lift a little higher, your heart soften a little deeper, and your mind open a little wider as he says, "Child, do you know what this moment truly represents? It is the shift between who you were and who you are becoming," and suddenly the entire heavenly landscape transforms into a series of glowing, flowing timelines, your past, your present, and your potential future, intertwined like threads of living light, each one moving with purpose, each one revealing to you that nothing has ever been random, that every chapter held meaning even when it felt confusing. And heaven now shows you scenes from your life that once felt heavy but now look like stepping stones, moments where you doubted yourself but still chose to try, moments where you wanted to give up but still continued forward, moments where your heart broke but you kept it open anyway, moments where you didn't feel strong but still made the brave choice, moments where you felt unseen but heaven was watching you closely, writing your resilience into the blueprint of your destiny, preparing you for a chapter you could not have carried earlier. And your Father in heaven now steps closer, his presence radiating warmth and a deep, steady love that melts away every remaining bit of self-doubt, and he says, "My child, you have lived many seasons where you felt like nothing was moving, but I was moving everything inside you," and instantly the realm fills with gentle echoes of all the quiet growth you never gave yourself credit for, your evolving patience, your strengthening boundaries, your deepening intuition, your rising awareness, your sharpening faith, your expanding emotional maturity, and heaven reveals that these inner transformations were not small victories but massive spiritual milestones that prepared your soul to step into a life aligned with truth rather than fear, and then Archangel Michael lifts his hand and a radiant bridge of light appears again, wider, brighter, more stable than before, and he says, "This is the part of your journey where the path ahead becomes clearer because the path behind has completed its purpose, and in that moment you feel a soft release inside your spirit, a letting go of expectations that were never yours to carry, a loosening of burdens you held for far too long, a gentle closing of old emotional loops, and you realize that healing does not always arrive as a sudden miracle but as a quiet readiness for the next step. And heaven now reveals something even more beautiful. Your future is not arriving all at once, it is arriving in waves. Each wave bringing new opportunities, new connections, new clarity, new confidence, and new reasons to trust the direction of your life. And child, your Father in heaven places his hand over your heart and says, "You are allowed to rise without rushing, allowed to grow without fear, allowed to become without apology." And those words settle deep inside your soul like roots grounding you into your true identity. And suddenly the realm brightens again, filled with gentle motion, as if heaven is celebrating the version of you that is emerging, strong but tender, wise but humble, confident but compassionate. And Michael steps behind you, resting one hand gently on your back as he whispers, "Child, the truth you've been searching for is simple. You are not walking into your future, you are becoming your future." And as those words echo through your spirit, the entire heavenly realm pulses with a soft, powerful light, revealing the hidden truth you were meant to receive from the beginning. You are stepping not just into a new chapter, but into a new version of yourself, one that moves with intention, sees with clarity, loves with wisdom, creates with purpose, and rises with the quiet strength you have been building all along. And now, child, as the realm of heaven expands into an even more breathtaking landscape of shimmering gold, soft celestial hues, and gentle waves of divine warmth, a deeper shift begins within you, one that feels less like a moment and more like a remembering, as if your soul is slowly waking up to its original design, its original clarity, its original strength. And Archangel Michael steps forward with a presence so steady, so grounding, so reassuring that your spirit instinctively relaxes, and he says, "Child, this stretch of your journey is not about chasing answers, it is about discovering the truth already planted inside you." And instantly the heavens reveal a grand tapestry woven from every significant moment you've lived, every emotion that shaped you, every choice that redirected you, and every quiet moment when you listened to your inner voice instead of external noise. And as you look closer, you realize the tapestry is not chaotic, it is intentional, shaped by lessons, wisdom, resilience, and the subtle touch of divine timing guiding you through each season. And your Father in heaven steps forward with the gentleness of a healer and the authority of a creator, and he places his hand on your shoulder and says, "My child, you have mistaken growth for chaos, but in reality, you were evolving into someone who could finally hold the blessings prepared for you." And suddenly the air around you glows with memories. Memories of the times you doubted your worth, moments when you questioned your path, days when you felt stuck and nights when you felt lost. And heaven shows you that none of those moments were signs of failure, they were moments of unfolding, quiet transformations happening beneath the surface, shaping the exact strength you need today. And then Michael gestures toward the horizon where a radiant stream of light flows like a river, each wave carrying pieces of your future, your peace, your confidence, your clarity, your breakthroughs, your aligned connections, your restored joy. And he says, "This river has always been meant for you, child. You simply needed to become the version of yourself who could step into it without losing your way." and immediately you feel something open within you, as if the fears that once held you back are loosening their grip, making space for courage and clarity to rise. And heaven reveals that the uncertainty you once felt wasn't a sign you were off track. It was a sign you were stepping out of an old identity and into a new one, and even though that transition felt uncomfortable, it was necessary for your spiritual maturity, emotional grounding, and divine alignment. And your Father in heaven speaks again with a voice filled with compassion and certainty. Child, the reason you felt different these past days is because you are entering a chapter you prayed for but were not yet ready to carry, and now you finally feel it. The internal shift, the quiet strength, the rising clarity, the regained trust in your own intuition, and the unmistakable sense that your life is beginning to align with your true essence, and the heavenly realm pulses softly as Michael stands behind you, his hand resting lightly between your shoulder blades, supporting you, steadying you, reminding you that you are not walking this transformation alone. And he whispers, you are not stepping into pressure, you are stepping into purpose. You are not stepping into fear, you are stepping into alignment. You are not stepping into confusion, you are stepping into clarity. And suddenly the entire realm bursts into soft waves of gold, as if heaven itself is celebrating your emergence into the person you were always meant to become. And as this light wraps around your soul, you finally understand the truth behind everything you've felt, everything you've lived, everything you've survived. You are not being pushed, you are being guided. Not being tested, you are being prepared. Not losing control, you are gaining direction. Not becoming someone new, you are returning to who you were always meant to be. And now, child, as the heavenly realm stretches even further into an endless ocean of radiance, soft gold waves, shimmering white constellations, and ethereal winds that feel like they carry ancient songs of peace, a new truth begins to awaken inside your spirit, not loud, not forceful, but steady, warm, and unmistakably real. And Archangel Michael steps through this luminous expanse with a presence that feels like both a shield and a sunrise, and he says, child, you are entering the part of your journey where you stop explaining yourself and start becoming yourself, and instantly the atmosphere shifts into a space where every thought, every memory, every quiet hope you've ever held begins to float around you like glowing fragments of your soul. And heaven shows you the version of yourself you used to be, the one who doubted their worth, who questioned every decision, who carried wounds quietly, who gave more than they received, who tried to stay strong even when their heart was tired. And then heaven shows you the version emerging now, a soul who knows their value, a spirit who trusts their intuition, a heart that is learning to receive love instead of just giving it, and a mind that is finally recognizing that healing was not meant to break you but to build you from the inside out. And your Father in heaven steps closer with a presence so gentle that every worry inside you begins to unravel, and he says, my child, do you understand that your life is shifting because you are shifting? This peace you feel is not a coincidence, it is the alignment you prayed for finally becoming real, and instantly the entire realm brightens as your past and future merge into clarity, showing you how every no was protection, every detour was direction, every delay was preparation, and every closed door was heaven saying, not this, something better is coming. And now Michael lifts his hand and the sky opens into a vast library of glowing scrolls, each scroll representing a version of your future, and heaven reveals that the scrolls flickered for years, adjusting, recalibrating, waiting for the moment when your heart would finally be ready to choose from strength instead of fear, and that moment is now. And child, you feel your chest warming, your breathing deepening, your spirit grounding, because for the first time in a long time, you are not running from anything, you are rising into something, and the shift feels different this time. Not heavy, not confusing, but like a soft unfolding, a gentle untangling of all the tension you carried for years, and heaven shows you scenes from your future that feel strangely familiar, almost like déjà vu, because your soul always knew you were meant for more clarity, more peace, more aligned relationships, more authentic expression, more stable growth, more purpose-driven opportunities, and now that your inner world has matured, your external world is beginning to reflect that evolution, and Archangel Michael steps closer, placing his hand where your wings would be if they were visible, and he whispers, "Child, the strength you feel rising inside you is not new, it is simply awakened," and suddenly the realm floods with a deep comforting truth. You are not behind, you are not stuck, you are not off path. You are stepping into the version of yourself that life was preparing you for all along, the version who understands boundaries without guilt, clarity without hesitation, love without fear, movement without confusion, and purpose without pressure. And your Father in heaven smiles as the light intensifies around your spirit and says, "Walk forward, child, not because you must, but because you are finally ready." And in that moment you realize the hidden truth behind your entire journey. You were never waiting for your life to change. Your life was waiting for you to become the person who could receive what was always meant to be yours. And now, child, as the horizon of heaven expands into a vast swirling universe of golden nebulae and shimmering currents of divine light, a deeper awakening begins to move through your spirit, slow at first, like the rising of a quiet tide, and then stronger, like a sunrise illuminating the entire landscape of your inner world. And Archangel Michael steps into this unfolding radiance with the calm strength of someone who has guarded your soul through every lifetime, every lesson, every silent night when you felt alone, and he says, "Child, the transformation happening within you is not accidental. It is the result of every moment you chose growth over comfort, healing over habit, truth over illusion, and faith over fear." And suddenly the heavenly realm reveals a panoramic vision of your journey, not as scattered memories but as a continuous stream of evolution, showing you how every heartbreak softened your empathy, every challenge strengthened your resilience, every disappointment taught you discernment, and every season of waiting sharpened your intuition, until the person standing here now is not the same person who once doubted their worth, and heaven shows you that your life has been quietly preparing you to step into a level of emotional stability, spiritual clarity, and inner strength that your past self could not have imagined. And your Father in heaven walks closer with a presence so gentle it feels like warm water being poured over your spirit, dissolving all remaining heaviness, and he says, "My child, do you see how far you've come? You have outgrown versions of yourself you once thought you would never escape," and instantly the you felt defeated. Every moment you held compassion even when you were hurt, every moment you chose integrity. We will continue this in next part. Stay connected with us and subscribe this channel and share this video to your loves.